Lisa Doyle with Rockcliff Realtors, and I wanted to bring you guys some information on, of course, our schools. One of the questions that we get every day from families that are trying to decide about moving into our district and living in our area is they've heard great things about our schools, which are very, they've heard correctly. But I wanted them to get a chance to meet you, so thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is Ruth Steele. She is principal at San Ramon Valley High School, one of our premier high schools here in the East Bay. So thank you, Ruth.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
it's fun to be able to share a little bit about our school.
Yeah, so we'll just jump right into questions. I know most of the parents love the opportunity to get to know you a little bit. So tell us a little bit about your background. You've been a principal here at San Ramon for how long?
This is my 4th year, and I've worked locally and obviously abroad. I'm English, I think, right up here. So I used to teach science and art, biology primarily, and in England I worked all the way from middle school through college level. So that was my background there, and I moved here in 2001, so I taught science here, became an assistant principal, and then the last 4 years I've been here, but I've kind of spanned different types of districts, different sizes of districts, so this is a pretty special place. I mean, I like an awful lot about the school and the district, and it's a very positive environment to work in.
It's a very special place. I mean, I can't even tell you, having worked in this area for many, many years, many families research the whole Northern California, and they land in Danville partly because we have such an incredible public school system.
Yeah.
The children here, and from my personal experience, it always felt like the whole focus was all about the kids, which I love that, all from the time they.
Yeah, it is, and actually we live out in Concord, and my kids are 6 and 10, and we tried Mount Diablo schools, and then I moved them here. So this last year I've moved them over now at one of our elementary schools, and it's been interesting comparing a different district with our district, and it has been night and day for our kids. One of whom struggles a little bit, one doesn't, and but they're at Vista Grande across the street at the elementary school, and it's been so powerful moving them over here and them getting to experience that student-centered education.
Yeah, and I've personally had the same experience with different schools outside of our San Ramon Valley, and it seems like the parents are so much more involved here. That maybe that helps the school be stronger too.
It does. There's no doubt. I mean, our school wouldn't run properly without parent support. I mean, the financial support we get, the time and the commitment is huge. Seeing that, I mean, I get all the emails from the elementary school for all the things happening with my kids, so I get to see both sides of it, being the administrator here and being the parent across the street. It's pretty interesting, and the parent involvement is huge. It makes a world of difference.
So what would you say? I mean, all of our schools in our district are very good. All 4 high schools that we have, San Ramon, Monte Vista, Cal, and Doherty, they're all very highly accredited schools. What makes San Ramon special?
That's an interesting question. I mean, there's a lot of different things. I think honestly, it's our kids. I mean, we have really good students, and they bring this wonderful balance of they're academically focused, they're motivated, but they take really good care of each other. And every year we get transfer requests from other schools because kids want to come here, and there's a school spirit and a level of community that's really special. But that comes from our staff and from our parents. I mean, the way our kids are raised, the way that we try to educate them, it's really powerful. And we've had some different tragedies in the community over the last few years, and the way that the whole community will come together and rally around and take care of people, I think is pretty unique. And it makes people feel supported and cared about.
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
Nice.
I think we get more questions of, okay, if I live in this area, can I transfer to San Ramon Valley? We get that a lot. So it's you
pretty much have to live in our boundary now to come here, because the rules on transfers have gotten a lot tighter. So.
Well, that was one of the things I wanted you to share, because I do have parents ask me very often, how easy is it to transfer? And back years ago, it was pretty possible. Today,
well, even my first year here, we had a really high number of transfers. Over the last 3 years, that's dwindled significantly, and the district's trying very hard to keep the enrollment similar at each school site, so you don't have these movements of kids. So basically now, unless you have a sibling already in the school or you live in the specific school boundary, you're probably not going to get a transfer in. And that info is all on our district website, but basically, unless you're in the San Ramon Valley High School boundary area, you're probably not going to get to come here, which is sad.
Which is very sad. Lots of people.
I'd love to say yes to everyone, but I can't. It's not my job. I'm not in charge of transfers.
So tell us a little bit about watching the young people today. It feels like the incoming freshmen. I have a daughter coming in as a freshman into high school, and I listen to her friends, and they seem so nervous and afraid and scared, and more so than I've ever heard kids before. Maybe it's just their group. Give them a little bit of advice on how do they acclimate to high school. What would you recommend?
Well, there's a parent night we hold in the spring, which was a few weeks ago, where we invite all the incoming freshmen. And I think the best piece of advice for any student coming up here is to try something new that they haven't tried before in middle school, to be okay to maybe lose their old friend groups. It's all right to build new friendships and leave older ones behind. And just to really, look at it as an experience to learn new things, try new things, and kind of broaden their horizon, because high school's not like middle school.
Yeah.
And you go from being the big fish in the little pond, and suddenly you've got this massive campus and all these new experiences, and that's frightening because it's just different.
Yeah.
Just the change itself is hard. So I really think being willing to spread your wings a little bit and be okay with trying something new, join a new club, try a new sport, jump into something that you haven't done, it opens up a world of possibilities.
Try a new class. I know there's so much to offer here at San Ramon as far as class. Share a little bit about that. There's so many special courses and,
Well, one of the benefits of having such an active parent community is we get funding from parents to run classes and keep sections small. So we have an amazing choral music program, an instrumental music program. We have our fine arts, our digital arts, our technology. We have an auto shop still. So there's something for everybody. It really is neat. Then you can try something that you've never experienced at elementary or high school.
Yeah.
So, and often kids worry so much about, I have to take these classes to get into college. Yes, to some extent, but there's always room in your schedule to try something new that you didn't do before that will also help you look like a more rounded student. So it's never a bad idea to try something new.
That's very good. A lot of the questions that we get from parents these days are the last 3 or 4 years, the changes that California has made towards the Common Core. I always felt as a parent it seemed as though it made the class study more rigorous.
Yeah.
Share a little bit about Common Core and maybe the evolution, and it sounds like Common Core is here to stay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a really positive direction for education. The STAR testing we've had for a long time was very much rote memorization based, and when kids are just being asked to memorize facts and figures for a test, you really don't get that depth of learning. And Common Core is designed around skill development, not content retention. So as kids move through all the grade levels, they're being prepared for either college or careers beyond high school. It's not college specific. It's about, do you have the skills you need to survive as an adult once you leave high school? And it's about reading, writing, speaking, listening. Can you communicate? Can you articulate? Can you argue? Can you
think more?
Can you think? And those are really powerful skills, and as kids do more of it, we see them getting better and better at that. So it is harder. I mean, it requires more brain work, which is always a good thing.
Well, we want our kids to think. Memorizing isn't going to get them success in their life.
No.
They need to be able to think and, think for themselves and decide what it is that they're being taught and decide what it means, rather than just memorizing it. Well, that's wonderful. So San Ramon Valley, of course, has a website that they can go to. Would you share that? Because I know that they can go there for a lot of information.
So it's www.srvhs.net. If you Google San Ramon Valley High School, it'll pop up. And we have a lot of information on there. There's information about our new projects. There's academic information, parent information, student information. Pretty much anything you need to know you can find. And if it's not on our school website, it's on the district one, which is www.srvusd.net.
Okay,
so
great.
that's the district website. So between those two places, you can find anything. All the transfer information is on the district website, not ours. But all that's out there.
Yeah, well, I so appreciate your time, and I know parents so appreciate the opportunity to get to know you a little bit and
Thank you.
Reassure their students a little bit about what their new experience will be when they get here.
Yeah, so I think it's scary for any freshman, but I think it's about as welcoming and friendly of a place as you could find, and our kids take really good care of each other, so it's pretty special watching them do that.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, and if you guys have any questions, of course, give us a call anytime. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.